hydrate or dihydrate.
Hey! Hey! Hey!
Gonna break my neck if I'm not careful. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. This energy you're seeing right here is all the energy you're gonna get today, because my God, am I hurting and exhausted. So, I did tell you in the announcement we would be having some story time. It wouldn't be very long, but, you know, that way I could explain what happened yesterday. Boy, was it a long day.
He's back!
Ah, you're once again excited for a new laptop. I am once more excited for a new to me laptop. Gamey Braid giving a tier 1 sub to Kajar. Let's go! 1,539. Every one of those subs counts. That's huge. Woo, free loot. I guess. No, yeah, actually, no, you're right. You're right, that is. And you didn't get hit by this ad that just started. Woo, yeah. I'll wait for this time of story time until after the ad. Looks like Agent Snow was getting pets. Ah, he stole it. He stole it. The precious. Yeah, I feel that. I'm just waiting for my relief to get here. I'm in so much pain at the moment. I'm sorry to hear that, man. I really am. I know what that's like. Yeah. So, Gamey Brain, Kajar, Corset, Crack, Oldorath, Wardens, Maku. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Salutations, Senior. Unfortunately, I can't stay this evening. I have to pop in and say, no matter what you're going through, you are some of the few stars in this incredibly dull sky. Your voice is like a jolt of electricity that makes every day a little brighter. Your hair is stuff of legend. Lastly, you bring such a friendly atmosphere that it makes me happy to have been able to crack you. Now, with all that being said, let's crack away. Thank you for that. I really appreciate that. It's very kind. What is crack-a-lackin'? The finale to our Stellaris episode here. So again, I was trying to go as I streamed extra long yesterday because I was like, any moment now, we're gonna finish Satana, or Satana will finish us one way or another. And it didn't happen. Instead, what did happen was I had to close the game multiple times because I kept having a memory issue. So when the game first launches, according to Task Manager, it takes around 4 to 5 gigabytes of memory. But by the time I had to close the game, I was up to 15 gigabytes of memory. And getting worse. So I'm assuming there's some memory leak or something. I'm not exactly certain, but it happens usually whenever I look at the system with all my ships. So it makes me think about how expensive things have come. Yeah. So, has enough time passed for the ad to go away so I could do mine? Yeah, we're close. Okay. You also have many tabs open. I have 3 email tabs: the Throne account, the Ko-fi account, and Twitch. That's it. I say that that's very few, personally. So, let's stop looking at that. It was an accident. All right, there are multiple events. Like there in my science ship, for example. For some reason, one of the one of the special projects is in here, but so is an archaeology site, the Unlikely Survivor. I don't know why it spawned in my home system, but it did, and that kept making me go into their system. So, anyways, back to Simon's story time. Okay, so yesterday, very busy day, streamed extra late. Then I had a lot of other stuff to do after stream because we had guests that were arriving. Lots of cleaning, lots of vacuuming, lots of prep work for the bedrooms, things like that. And then I had a little bit of a break. I relaxed for about an hour or so. Try not to fall asleep because then I had to drive to the airport to pick up our guests that were landing close to midnight. Well, I make sure I leave with plenty of time to get to the airport so then I could get there before they land rather than after they land, because I don't want them to have to wait any longer than they have to. So I pull into the airport like 10-ish minutes to midnight, or like 20 minutes to midnight. And there's a waiting area that you could park at. And that's actually going to be the same area I'm going to be waiting for you, Gaming Brain. I'm going to be waiting a little bit different this time. So, it is late. I am tired. It is getting closer and closer to midnight. And I text the people. I'm like, hey, let me know when you're ready, when you got your luggage, and then I'll swing by the terminal and I'll pick you up. They're like, well, so-and-so's plane hasn't even landed. They tried to, get their flights to come in roughly at the same time. That way I could pick everybody up at the same time. Well, their plane hadn't even landed yet. It's like, great, okay. Well, then I don't want to sit here letting my car run for 20, 30 minutes while I wait. Because the plane still has to land, then it has to taxi, then everybody's got to get off, and then you got to get your luggage. So I was like, I'm not going to waste the gas. I'm going to turn my car off. So I did. However, I did not take the key out. So the lights in the car stayed on. Some of you can already see where this is going. Spoiler alert, it is exactly what you think. About 20-odd minutes later, 20, 25, almost 30 minutes later, as expected, they're like, all right, we got our luggage and we're ready to get picked up. Great, I'll see you there. Pick you up in a second. Turn the key. Click, 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 click. Click, 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 click. Oh no. The car won't start. The lights are still on. The dash is still lit. my inboard screen, like, you know, like those new like those LED screens or whatever, that's like, oh, here's all these car options. It's all still lit, but the car won't turn over. The battery isn't even that old. It just died. Now, to be fair, it hasn't been driven very often, and it's been very cold recently. So, cold weather, not driven very often, battery did not have enough juice. So I text them, I'm like, I can't start the car. They're like, you're kidding us, right? Nope, I can't start the car. So they're like, can somebody give you a jump? Well, first of all, I checked the car. I have no jumper cables. I asked 8 other vehicles. They didn't have jumper cables. I went to 8 random people in the parking lot and was like, hey, sorry to bother you. I know it's like, you know, past midnight. It's now like, you know, 12:30 in the morning. Do you happen to have jumper cables so I can jump my car? Nope. Nope. It's in my other car. Nope. It's in my work truck. Nope. Oh my word. Yeah, I'm also fairly antisocial. So, but I didn't have a choice. That's the problem. I had people relying on me. So I'm telling them, like, is there like customer service you could talk to? Then maybe they could send a service truck and they could jump me or something. And they're like, can you just ask somebody? And we're having this whole conversation, and I'm going from car to car to car. Eventually, they call me and they're like, hey, you know, let's talk about the situation. And as we were talking over the phone, a good Samaritan who overheard the phone call was like, hey, did I hear that you guys need a jump? I have jumper cables in my car. I'll swing around and go help him out. And they're like, oh, thank you so much. Thank you. So this good Samaritan who was in the airport terminal, who was picking up someone, was like, you know what? I'll swing over and I'll go jump him. Thank God. Because nobody else had jumper cables. And so he pulls up. He knows, I know what car he's in, and he know what car I have. So I'm trying, and it's super dark out. There's no moon. The only lights I have are the lights from the parking area. What I think is him pulls into the lot, and I'm waving him down, and then he pulls into a different spot somewhere else. I'm like, oh, that's probably not him then. Well, then he gets out, and I realize he parked right next to a different car that's the exact same make and model of my car. I was like, oh, no, I'm over here. Come over here, please. So he pulls over. Anyways, suffice it to say, we get the car jumped, right? Finally, the car starts. I pick up the people from the airport. We make our way home. We don't arrive home until like nearly 2 a.m. So it has now been a very long day. And I still had a couple of things that needed to be done, because now the car, you know, once I got it home and the car is dead, now I hooked up a trickle charger to it so that it could recharge the battery. But this whole time that the car was actually having a problem, apparently my sister must have, like, because it was my sister I was picking up, I must have texted my mother about like the car not being able to start. And my mother texts me. She must have only gotten a part of the situation, because she texts me saying, hey, I hear you're having trouble starting the car. When you get to the airport, make sure you don't turn it off. So I text back saying, that's the problem. I'm already at the airport and I turned it off. Like, she thought I hadn't left the house yet. Anyways, it was a very long day, a very stressful day. So today my body is reeling from it. I didn't get to sleep in because, you know, I still have to take care of the dogs and everything. It's just, oh man, it's been a rough day. It was an adventure. Hey, you guys got a nice story out of it, so there's some positive out of this. Yeah. That would exhaust my social battery right there. Oh, yeah. I was so thankful that that gentleman was willing to come by and jump, and it was perfect. Well, that part was perfect. Everything else that led up to it was a disaster. Oh man, I thanked him profusely. I was considering pulling out my wallet and like, here's all the money I got for your time. Like a reverse robbing, you know? Anyways. Wait, where's my... There it is. Calls for a big plush to hold on to and rest on. Oh, I was looking forward to my sleeps. I was really looking forward to my sleeps. The problem, though, is I had done so much that day that... And it is now 2 a.m. I usually use sleeping medication to help me fall asleep and stay asleep through the pain from my body pain. Because otherwise, it hurts too much for me to fall asleep, or like it will take me hours to fall asleep through the pain, or it will wake me up in the night. So, but it was past 2 a.m. by the time I get into bed, and I'm thinking, if I take my meds now, they last about 8 hours. That would bleed into stream time if I'm not careful. So I can't take my meds. I can't take my sleep meds. So it took me extra long to fall asleep. So that means I got less sleep versus being sleepy today. I suppose I could have just postponed the start to today, but I still had guests, so I still had to get up early to take care of the dogs and see to everybody else. So it was, oh man, rough day. General Kenobi. Malvadini. I still am unsure how to say your name, especially because I know of a content creator named Maldiva, and your name is like a dyslexic version of that. I'm not saying that your name is dyslexic. I'm just saying I am having a problem because I'm used to it being said a different way. Anyways, let's get into today. So today is going to be a little bit more chill. Until, you know, once I ran out of this caffeine tablet that I'm used for today. The plan is we are going to fight and finish off Satana, or Satana will finish us off. Now, I've been told that there is a event chain that psionic empires could go through to make Satana trivial. I don't necessarily want to do that, especially because we've already had some bugs. So, she had 6 fleets. And you'll see here, she currently does not. She's only got 3 fleets. And that's because there is a weird bug that happened with the convoys. So the convoys in this event are a separate empire type. You'll see here that it has a different icon compared to Satana's. That way, when you do the event and you ambush their convoys, it doesn't anger Satana's empire. Not usually. It does apply like an opinion modifier to her, so that if you keep doing it, she gets upset. But for the time being, for the purposes of this event, it's not the same empire. Including her fleets. Her fleets are actually, if I look at them, you'll see here that they have so much power that it's off of their bar. It has to put the 143 million down. 143 million down here versus up here. Granted, their fleets are actually down here. It's 173 billion and it can't fit. But what happened was when these convoys that you're supposed to ambush, when they would leave the system, I would engage them in the next system over with my other fleets so I could progress this event chain. The problem, though, is that when you would get into combat with those fleets, if she had one of her giga fleets in the system, the 170 billion, it would suddenly become friendly. No, sorry, it would become hostile, but it would join the faction of the convoy. Now, at first when it started to happen, I was like, oh god, we're dead. 173 million? Oh, we're screwed. I only have a 3 million fleet in here. They're gonna get evaporated in an instant. That's not what happened. Since it technically swapped to the other faction, it lost its buffs. So this faction currently, if I look at their stats, they have no crisis modifiers to it. No extra bonuses. Her fleets, though, have 20,000% bonuses. So this 170 million fleet became 170,000. It's pronounced Malva. That's several I's. Or is that L's? It's a Y. Oh, like ye. Malvadini? Malvadini. It's Malvadini. Something like that. All right, Malvadini. I'll do my best to remember that. So anyways, her fleet went from, oh, we're screwed, to this is pitiful. And when I realized that, now granted, it didn't get destroyed because it still managed to escape. So it just respawned as hers in this system and then did it again. However, the AI started getting involved. They started doing these strikecraft things. Sorry, not the strikecraft. The convoys, and getting into combat and actually weakening them. So there is somewhere around here, floating around, a Satana fleet that is severely weakened. But the other fleets are now MIA. They're missing in action until they return. So I don't know if we're going to be able to actually fight her on her best terms because of this weird bug that's happening. So yes, she had 1 billion fleet power in total before we even began. But actually, also, that's not including her. That's just her guard unit. All these guard units combined was 1 billion. That didn't even count Satana. She technically doesn't have a fleet strength right now. So it wasn't even counting that. So we would have had 1 billion plus her. Can I not click on my research? Okay, I guess not. Yeah, like that. It sounds funny. It does. Victory or death. That's what it is. So once we finish this event, once we progress this to maximum, to 10 out of 10, then we'll be able to engage Satana. But until then, there's not really a whole lot we can do. Let me actually make sure. Let's go through our shipyards. We're not producing any more ships, so we're going to change the situation. Log over to research. Squeeze out that much more. We can get as much research as possible before the final battle. So we're trying to... I want a 1v1er. I want to square up. I want to square up between us, all of our fleets, which, by the way, this is only one of 66 fleets, which we are currently hemorrhaging money. I cannot afford to upkeep this. I'll buy what I can when it comes to energy to bide my time. But we have to start this fight before we run out of money. Otherwise, my fleets, I'm gonna have to delete half of them because I can't afford them. I overproduced for this. Expecting the fight, I have 36,000 nav cap out of the 10,000 I'm allowed. I would increase my nav cap if I was capable, but the devs at Stellaris were like, or at Paradox were like, nobody should need more than 9999. We're just gonna leave that as the cap. Okay. So there is an event here that we're trying to finish, which is the last beacon. The last beacon should give us the last point we need. Should. If it doesn't, because right now, at our current rate, we are going to run out of energy in
molding the world.
100 months? 100 months, something like that. Less than 100 months.
Materials analyzed.
We're doing what we can to stave it off. I do have several ring worlds right now that are being built for energy districts, energy segments, just to see if we can, you know, hold. It will increase the amount of time we actually have. Not by a lot, but it will increase it. You wouldn't normally do more than that. That's true. That's true. That's true. The average player wouldn't even fight against something like this, right? Like, this is the most absurd of circumstances. I don't think it could get any more absurd than this. I really don't. Because, you know, all 4 crises, other than, like, adding Grand Admiral as the difficulty, which would only increase her by, like, another, like, 20-30% difficulty. Like, 20-30% bonus. So, by the way, how the bonuses work, it would be additive, not multiplicative. So it wouldn't be like, oh, that 20,000 would now be 20,000 times 20%. No, it would be 21,000 plus. It would be 21,000 and 20%. So it wouldn't be as insane as you would think. So which one's cheaper? Yeah, we'll go for that one. So anyways, and the fact that she's the last crisis, this is the worst possible scenario for us. This is the exact opposite of what we wanted. I wanted Satana to be first, or maybe the contingency to be first, and then her be second. Instead, we got all of the events in nearly the exact opposite order that I had requested. Somebody asked, hey, Simus, what, oh, that was shield damage. That was a mistake. Whatever. I should have been armor. You know, if you had a choice, what would you rather fight against? Well, my answer was in the exact opposite order. It was Satana first, contingency second, then the Scourge, and then the Unbidden. Instead, we got the Unbidden. No, we got the Scourge, then the Unbidden. So technically, it's almost in the opposite direction. Then the contingency, and then Satana.
We fight.
All right, we're gonna destroy that little cluster there.
Entities.
The Queen's Bounty, we got a lot of science. Okay. 2 million. I think that was. No, that was 200,000. Because if it was 2 million, that would have completed the tech. And their fleet has coming back. Okay, so if this guard unit had been in the system when I had fought that, it would have done the weird bug thing. But since I did it ahead of time, this is the weakened one I was talking about. So, okay, I think this is it. The Veiled Temple has advanced the situation to 1, which means we are now at 10 out of 10. So now, oh, thank God I waited for this. I was wondering if I was going to have to jump the gun and fight her before. Actually, I don't think I would have, because I don't think I could literally enter the system without exploding. We have ship build speed 50%. Sublight speed 15%, and damage to her increased by 125%. That's to her specifically, not to her. I don't think it's to her, like, empire. No, it's to her specifically, I think. Okay. Well. You know, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm wondering, in the future, maybe doing the... No, these are pretty much about as good as we were going to get. I suppose I could have done, instead of World Shaper, I could have done something else, like, you know, extra damage to the final crisis. And we could probably also be in a Federation. I should have done the Federation. I really should have. It's just everybody hates me. I can make my own federation, maybe, with my subjects. Is that allowed? I mean, it's too late anyways. You have to build it up over a long time. So, I think we're now allowed to enter her systems without dying. I'm going to test it with a construction ship. I'm going to allow the system, and I'm going... They close their borders.
Beloved child, what brings you to me? Our work.
We now have the technological know-how to attack effectively. Can I get any extra oomph out of this? If I contact the mercenary enclave, no. What if I contact the curators? Do they have any knowledge that I can use? Mysteries, no. Tell us about... No. Our collection? Oh yeah, that's right. Our collection was destroyed, right? Oh, we reactivated it. Thank God. What was that item we gained? Satana's Love. It was an actual object. Exceptional. How can you increase the Navy, the nav capacity for your fleets? Not naval capacity. Oh, okay. So you're talking about the fleet command. So then I could have 500 or 600 or whatever. So most of it is through technology. There are societal techs that you can get that will improve how many fleets are, like how many ships are allowed. There are engineering ones which are beholden to what ship types you get. So anytime you unlock a ship type, if I could find one real quick. Let's go down to the previous ones. Like here. If you unlock battleships, or fleet command. So, ship types give you fleet command. Societal stuff also gives you fleet command. I would have to be like a billion years ago. Ah, here it is. Like plus 50, and then another one's probably like plus 20 or whatever. These technologies can give you a lot. There are other ways to also improve it. Namely with the Ascension perk. This one, very potent. Increases your nav cap, your commander limit, your influence, but it also increases your command limit by 100. That's very good. So this is a good way to get extra fleet command per fleet. Now the final way is if you have a commander that has special bonuses. So this one in particular has commanding presence level 2. And I think this one, the one next to it, has commanding presence level 1. Yeah, so the commanding presence gives 50 extra fleet command. Level 2 gives 80. So you can squeeze out a little bit more if you get lucky with your leader traits. But most of it is with technology. Technology and the one Ascension perk. There really isn't anything else. I don't even think that there is... Oh, actually, hold on. There might be one other thing, and that is the Admiralty. Distinguished Admiralty also increases fleet command limit by only 20, though. It's not as much. No. But what it does do is it increases your commander starting level. So what you could do using this and some other technologies is you can just keep rolling your admirals. So you hire an admiral, and normally whenever you hire, if your starting skill level is higher than the current one, it will do like this. If I go to commanders, I already have 57. But as an example, like this guy, he's level 3. but he'll spawn with extra traits. So I'll hire him. The game's like, oh, he doesn't have enough. You should choose some. So I'll go through them like, I'll choose this one. I'll choose this one. He didn't have the extra fleet capacity, so you can re-roll and try another person. And fire him and keep doing it. Yes, you're right. The Ascension did have other bonuses. That was like before 4.0 or 4.1. I think it was before 4.0. It had other uses. It has changed 3 times over the course of the game's existence. But then again, what hasn't? Since 1.0, a lot has changed. So I'm thinking now is the time. The time is now. And then I'm going to make one more save. Reload, just in case. Yes, overwrite. So I'm making this save. That way, in case I want to retract and try a different strategy, I can. But I don't think this is going to go well. This is it. It either works or it doesn't. So let's select every fleet we have. Okay, that's selecting some fleets that isn't actually... Okay, where are those fleets then? They're all in the hot system, right? Every fleet is in the hot system. Okay, then what I could do then... Wait, where are you? Oh, you're not even close to where you need to be. Send you there. Send you there. I will do this. I will select from this menu everyone. And I will have you all move here. You can go, so under government, and this may be exactly what you're already talking about. Under policies and edicts, you can change your engineering research bonus to be voidcraft, and the society one to be military theory, because that is what those two are listed under. I don't know if that's necessarily necessary. I was trying to find a different word. The reason why I say that is you can always build more fleets. You don't have to have, you know, that big of a fleet size, right? It's not really required. Also, if you want the biggest bang for your buck, like when it comes to nav capacity, or fleet command, I was talking about this before the other day. Cosmogenesis, granted, it is a DLC required, like you have to have the DLC in order to choose it. But with Cosmogenesis, you get access to incredibly powerful ship types. The Fallen Empire Escort class, the Battlecruiser class, and the Titan class. Per fleet capacity, you get more damage than you do for a regular ship. You get more weapon slots, you get more secondary slots. They have more hull to start with. They are potent by comparison to a regular ship. So this destroyer here only has like 1 large and 2 small. At most, you could get 1 large, 1 medium weaponry. And this is a ship size of 2. But if I go over to the Escort, it has way more weaponry and still a ship size of 2. So having 100 of these in a fleet versus 100 destroyers, the Riddle Escorts would be way stronger. By miles. All right. Once everybody's in position, I'm losing 164,000 energy. Oh, I've never been in so much debt before. I'm actually also losing alloys too. Negative 15,000 alloys. All right, everybody's in position. Everybody but one. There's one fleet that has yet to arrive, and it will get there very soon. It isn't that much of a punishment because it works off percentage based, right? So if you have 100 nav capacity and you have 101 ships, that's 1% negative, which works way differently than starbase capacity. Every starbase over your limit, that is that's 25% penalty per station,
Hey!
which is horrible. Hey, Spectre, what's up, man? You're just in time for the grand finale. What is about to go down? Well, we're about to fight Satana at well, I wouldn't say maximum strength because several of her defensive fleets are MIA. I don't know where they are. They've been somewhat cheesed, but not intentionally. Anyways, we have all but one. We have 66 fleets that are queued up to arrive here. Actually, you know what we should do? We should also get our armies. Combine all of them. And we're going to have them also get into the system. Oh, God. Actually, wait, where is this fleet?
Hey!
You're still in transit. Okay. I'm actually going to tell the army to follow this fleet. The army itself, I mean, look at all these ships. Hopefully these transports will distract Satana. Why is she so OP? Because she's the endgame. So, a couple of things. She is a crisis. The game has these crisis events that are supposed to be like, oh man, there's no way you could... Uh-oh. Oh, one of her... Yeah, all right, the weakened fleet is on its way back. You know, there's no way you can survive against this. This is the crisis. This is the final boss, essentially. The whole galaxy needs to band together to do this. And that's on one-time strength. Just regular default. I have it set up to 25 times. So it's 25 times as powerful. But ever since they implemented the ability for you to have all of the crises spawn in the same game, they added a mechanic where each following crisis is twice as strong as the last. So the fourth crisis, the first one is 25, the second is then 50, the third is 100, and the fourth one is 200 times strength. Satana, out of all of the bosses, out of all the crises, is the strongest of all four. And she has now spawned as the last of the four. So we have not only the strongest crisis, but it is the last crisis. So her bonuses are absurd. You'll see here that the modifiers listed here are 21,000% bonus. A single ship of hers equates to 2 of my fleets. I got the worst RNG when it comes to how these things stacked up. I got practically the actual worst when it comes to the crisis order. When chat was asking me which order would you prefer it in, I told them. And what has happened is the exact opposite order. So, we are losing immeasurable amounts of energy. Well, it is measurable because you can see it there. An immense amount of energy credits for this. While we are waiting for our final fleet to arrive, it is only 2 jumps away. Once it gets to its destination, we will begin. Also, the army needs to arrive there too. Send the armies in first to make sure that they take the hits. The army always rushes in first. It's really dumb. I don't understand. They gave the fleets more, like, speed than anything else. Their speed, like, this one ship speed. Hold on, wait a minute. Okay, yeah. Okay, so check this out. This ship speed is 1,000. That's the most out of any ship I've ever seen for the transport ship. But instead of having the game be programmed where it's like, oh, we're going to have you drag behind or, you know, lag behind the fleet, if you tell this ship to go somewhere that the fleet is going, this ship will end there first. Because it's just how fast it is.
Hey!
Imagine, well, so okay, if I wasn't over my nav cap, I would be making like 100,000 energy credits more than I need. Look at the consumption section. Look at the ships. 373,000 energy from ships alone. That is because we are 263% over our naval capacity. We have so many ships that they can't dock all of them. I don't have enough star bases to hold all of these ships. This is bonkers. I have never had this many ships. I've had like 15,000 before out of the 9,999. This is now double what I've ever had. And that's because I find it necessary to fight against Satana. Now, I really don't know what's going to happen here. Well, I'm going to bet that the game crashes before either of us wins or loses. But now I need to select all of these fleets and send them in to fight her. But first, we need to declare war. Why no Juggernaut? I forgot. I had no reason for it up until now, and I've already forgot. I might run out of money before we get the Juggernaut built. What would the Juggernaut provide if I built it? Ship weapons range. That's kind of important. That's very important, actually. All right, hold on. How long is this going to take? Okay, you know what? False alarm. That was a practice session. That's what that was. Yeah, everybody go back. Everybody go home. All right, so I don't lose nearly as many energy credits. Yeah, no, we're waiting. You're waiting. Yeah, it is. It is a very potent aura. So a lot of our weaponry will already have the range we want, but there will be a significant amount that would be just shy, and I'd rather have them have more range than not. So everybody go home. Just for a moment. Good God. So I'm not actually going to look at the system with the ships inside, because if I zoom in on the system, my game might crash. So it's already chugging, and I haven't even looked in the system yet. But when the fight starts, I'll try to watch. It will be a slideshow, but we'll try to watch. You don't always have to. In fact, depending on how you play, the 9,000 is enough. If you have Cosmogenesis and you have a lot of tech, you don't need more than 9,000 to defeat a 25 times crisis. If you're doing multiple 25 times crisis, then yes, you probably will. You'll have to go over. What was I gonna put here? I should still queue these up. Just no, actually, I don't know. I really don't think that queuing anything up now has any purpose. Like either we win against her or we lose. Some like all the other crises in the game are like, hey, they're there and you could defeat them on your own time. Don't give them too much breath, you know, like too much time to expand, but you could defeat them whenever you're ready. Zatanna's not that way. Zatanna's on a timer. If you don't defeat her before the timer runs out, it's game over. I don't even know what her timer is at right now.
What brings you to me? Our work awaits.
But she has a timer. I don't know if the timer has begun yet. Because in the past, she had like this progress bar that would like raise over time. I haven't seen anything. So I really don't know. In the end game, what is more valuable? A fully upgraded generator world or a fully upgraded naval world?
Another eye.
So it depends. It depends on how much naval capacity the Navy world can produce versus how much the generator world can produce. The generator world will usually produce more energy to upkeep a navy than the NavCap world will allow. I could go to some of my NavCap worlds and see just how much they actually produce. Actually, let's see here. So from jobs, from population, I'm currently getting 6,668. That's because it is more ideal that you get your nav cap from jobs than you do from stations. You could get a lot of nav cap out of your stations. Right now, I'm allowed up to 50, but most players won't have 50 systems. That's the problem. Even with 50 systems, you're still going to need some of your stations to be bulwarks or ship production, so you can't even use all of them as navcap. Using star bases for your naval capacity is ill-advised because it is not nearly as efficient. If you have free space, it's nice, it's helpful, but it's just paltry compared to what you can get on a world. One of our Gaia worlds here, how many jobs do I have working right now? And how much navcap is that? I don't even have it fully done. This is a fortress world. Its entire intention is to be navcap. It is producing 444 off of this one world, and we are getting a bonus due to how I have the production overseer set up. So it's producing more than normal. And it's not even fully maxed out. We could have more people working. We have like 2,000 extra jobs, so this could be more like 500 or 600. But there's no point because I'm already maxed. So having a navcap world can be really potent if you push it to the max. Right? 448 extra naval capacity. Very strong. But if you can manage to get a really good energy world, like let me go to one of our best energy planets. Yeah, this one is producing 4,000 energy. That could afford you 400 ships worth. Because you're still going to need the upkeep anyways. I would say if I had to choose, I would rather have a navcap world than an energy world. Energy is meant to be spent. I don't necessarily want to be in the positives of 8,000 energy, because what does that do you? You have a good bank account, but that doesn't help you with combat. So having the nav cap, in my opinion, is more important than the energy planet, as long as you still have positive energy. You can have positive 1 energy. Heck, you can have negative 100 energy, as long as you have some trade to buy. All right, how long is this ship gonna take? So in the end, if you can get either a maxed out navcap world or a maxed out energy world, it would be better to get the navcap world, as long as you're still producing some energy and not in the negatives. Now, if I could change these planets, these energy planets, into nav cap worlds, I would. but I can't.
Hey!
Because you can't get above 9,999. The game has a hard cap there. How much trade upkeep does a fleet like that require? You don't want to utilize trade as upkeep. I'm telling you now, trade is inefficient unless you're doing a trade empire. If you're not doing a trade empire, don't do it. It is way more beneficial for you to produce the raw resource than it is for you to buy it. Per job, per pop, it is way more efficient. You can produce far more, double if not more, of a resource than if you were to use trade to supplement. Fleets have trade upkeep now? No. No. Certain jobs do. I don't have any trade upkeep. The amount of trade mover and shaker that you would require to upkeep my fleets would be multi-million a month. Because right now, my current ship upkeep, while they're all docked, by the way, so that's like a 20 or 30% reduction, is 266,000. And it currently costs 2.5 energy credits. Well, if I kept buying, because I'd have to keep. Let's see what it would max out at. 5.25 trade. So multiply 266,000 by 5.5, and that's the amount of trade you would require to upkeep all these fleets while they're docked and not floating around. No, they don't use upkeep. They don't. There might be like some special megacorp thing where like, guess what? We could supplement some of their stuff with trade. I don't know. I don't play trade corps usually. It's 0 if they're docked at a station. Let's find out. Let's get this fleet. Go back to the system I wanted in. Therefore, it will not be docked. We'll find out. Here and now, we'll know for sure. We'll have to wait for the month tick, though. Any day. It was added in 4.0. I'm not seeing it. Consumed, deficit, trade policy, jobs. I don't see it. It does say if it is used for ship upkeep and to buy other things, but I'm not seeing it. Unless one of these other deficits or trade policy deficit, like maybe it's under this trade policy, maybe that's where it's added. Let me actually look at the ship itself. It may not just be listed, or it's been, you know, bundled up with this. Gosh dang it. With this trade policy. Maybe it's in this 47,000. So if I go to my ship designer and I take a look at one of my ships, the upkeep does not say anything about trade. Now that could be because I'm using Fallen Empire technology. Let's see what a Corvette has. No trade. So that may have been recalled. Maybe they undid that. Or maybe that's something that Megacorps do that I don't. I don't see it. I wasn't talking about buying energy. I thought that... Oh, okay. So that's where the disconnect was, is the misunderstanding is because I don't see that they use trade. I don't even remember that they ever did. Even for, like, a temporary period of time. I don't remember that. Not a Megacorp thing? Still listed as in the game. It's just not showing up. I mean, it literally says there, it is used for ship upkeep. It says right there. So it's still listed under the description, but I don't see it in the actual list here. Again, it could be part of the trade policy. They could have just lumped it in there. I don't know. All I can tell you right now is I'm producing more than enough. Thank God, though. If they also had trade as an upkeep, that would be horrendous.
Our knowledge
I would be probably in the negatives right now. I would have had to have had more trade stuff. Now, to be fair, I am going really hard into science still. I still have a large number of planets that are dedicated to science, even though the end game is here. Normally, in the past, when I would be micromanaging and min-maxing, when the crisis is about to spawn, I will do what's called the pivot. It would take me like an hour on stream because it would, lots of stuff is going on. But I would go through every science planet and turning it into energy, nav cap, and alloys. Because there's no point in having tech anymore. Getting 5% more energy weapon damage when you already have like 50 repeatables on it will make a very small amount of difference compared to having a planet able to support 3 more fleets or 4 more fleets or whatever. The issue though is that with my nav cap and that we're so far over, the amount of energy credits I would require, so like that's a lot of planets that could be doing way more important things, and that's not even all of them. I don't think it was. No, I did. Yeah, I reorganized it. So that's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 17 planets that could be producing thousands more energy credits. And I'm not. Because I wanted that much more tech. I mean, I really don't need it. I mean, if all of them were energy planets, I probably could even go for a few more fleets, I guess. But therein lies a bit of a balance. So the numbers game, it's a spreadsheet, right? At what point is it better to get 5% more damage to all of your ships than it is to get 1 additional fleet? So at some point, you will have enough fleets that getting 5% across all of them would equal more than getting 1 more fleet. That's probably a really big number, but it's something to think about. Yes, 9,900 is a hard cap. Yeah, there's no more point in making Fortress Worlds. Now, what I'm saying is normally that would be like, because normally in the past, I would have a 25 times crisis game where I'd fight only against 1 crisis. So leading up to that point, I would then be doing the pivot where I would build up and build up and build up and change from the tech stuff over to the actual fleet production in preparation for the crisis. The issue though is that since I've been doing all 4 25 times crisis, I have to subsist between crises. And there could be a 1-month gap or a 20-year gap. So I still need all these other things. I need to be prepared ahead of time. There's an all-you-can-eat sushi and hibachi. What? I want to go to one of those. That sounds really good. All right. Oh, right. I meant to check in how much longer we had to wait for the thing. Shipyard. Ah, we're halfway done. The Juggernaut is 39%. All right. How much actual time is it? When will it be done? That is not what I meant to click on. Oops. 687 days. So 2 years. What is this? Hey, the scientist finally finished his experimental subspace navigation. I told him to start that 4,000 days ago. Yeah, that was a really dumb... I was trying to get into his system that, I was like, oh, he's on the opposite side of the galaxy. Let me just... And, we had no way to actually get there without jump driving. I was like, oh, I'll just use the experimental thing. Well, when he went MIA, it said that his average time to coming back into the system was 4,000 days later. Like 4,600 days or something. Absurd. Yeah, you guys are getting adverts. I apologize. It's been an hour. We have three. I don't know why I'm explaining it, because people are stuck behind ads. I keep doing that. I'm like, I'm sorry, guys. We get 3 minutes of ads, so we have an hour of no ads. But my explanation of that is moot if the people who I'm explaining it to are stuck behind ads. Yeah, I think we'll survive when it comes to monetary. Like, we are down to 3 million out of our total storage. We started with like 9 million. Yeah, it was close to 9 million when we first started going way overboard. We're at like 25,000 nav cap very comfortably. And we were actually making... leave her here. I'm not going to return her. Meter upkeep. Not important. Welcome back. Okay, so now that the adverts are over, I will explain the channel. I set up the channel so then we have 3 minutes of ads every hour. So we have 1 hour of no ads. There. Now that I've said it, to those of you who are stuck behind the ads, you just started playing this month. Okay, so the stuff that I'm doing and the strategies that I'm using are like about as min-max as you can get. I'm sure that there are better strategies. These are the strategies that I've developed. The average player does not need to do this. So I would not necessarily recommend what it is I'm doing in your own game. For like, oh, we're gonna pivot all of our planets away from science just so we can build more ships. You might need to. Maybe not. Getting warnings about pirate fleets attacks that never happen. So some of the pirate fleets will spawn outside of your territory. They'll spawn in the neighboring system, which is very weird. So it's technically not your problem, or they'll spawn in a system that nobody owns.
A voice reaches out.
That is very odd. Because previously it would spawn in your territory, but now it doesn't. This is great. Please give us the damage. Yes! Yes! The best roll! Oh! You know what? I'm so glad that we waited, because we actually didn't have this activated. We had the contingency core activated for the megastructure build speed. So this has now given us an extra 40% damage on our fleets. So our fleets are now well over 3 million in strength. Oh, that was huge. Oh, so good. Oh, that's so good. You know what? Before we begin, we're going to spawn the dimensional fleet as well. We may as well throw that thing in there. Remember, we're throwing everything and the kitchen sink. Want to make border planet strongholds? So, it depends on who you're fighting against. Especially when it comes to the crisis. I only just found this out today. No, 2 days ago. That apparently the crisis can't ignore your FTL inhibitors. They'll just skip them. So if you have a bastion planet or a fortress station, or like, you know, like the habitat, they could just go right by it. The crisis doesn't care. They're like, nah, that doesn't apply to me. I didn't know that. I didn't know that just a few days ago, because I saw it happen with my own eyes. I'm like, oh, it's fine. Well, we can stave off the thing, you know, because like we had, it was actually this system. The sterilization hub spawned in the system that I had at Planet with a FTL defense station or a defense building. So I was like, oh, they can't leave before bombing the planet, so we have some time. And then the fleets just left. They just ignored it. They don't care. That's for balance reasons. So you can have them on your border, and that is very good against regular AI. But I wouldn't necessarily go out of your way to do it. If you have the alloys, you have the micro, and you want to make a habitat to do it, perfect. That'll really hinder the AI when it comes to like regular AI. But the crises not only will ignore your FTL, but they can also jump drive if they have access to it. And they will. I witnessed it. I knew that they always could, but most of the time in the past, I was like, I haven't ever actually seen them use it. I've known that they have used it before because suddenly they appeared in a system. There was no way they could have accessed otherwise. So the only logical explanation was jump drive. It wasn't until yesterday or the day before I actually witnessed the AI jump drive. Beforehand, I'd never seen it myself. It just happened. Suddenly, they're in another system. I'm like, what the fudge? How'd they get past my defenses? Yeah, it is to make them more scary. It's also to make it so then they can't just get, like, trapped. You know, like, oh, they just happen to spawn at a bad spot like this? Had they spawned here and, you know, they would have been stuck here. Because the amount of defenses I have on this planet was like 2,800 versus like the 600 army they had. So there's no way they could have escaped. They would have been stuck there. Would have made it that specific spot a non-issue. I could have probably just ignored it entirely. I do like that they've made a lot of good changes. I mean, they've made a lot of changes, and in my opinion, a lot of them are very good. There were a couple I didn't like.
Our knowledge expands.
I really disliked the Unity change. I didn't mind that they wanted Unity to become more important, but the fact that they're like, oh, we'll make this use Unity. Oh, and this one will use Unity. Oh, and these also use Unity. Can we maybe not? That's a little much. No. It must use Unity. All right, another ring section. We can begin the upgrade on several more. I don't know why I'm doing this. I feel like I need to, because if I don't, I'll regret it. Shipyard, how you doing? You are 68% of the way there. All right. We were going to do the final battle, but we're going to wait a moment for our Juggernaut to appear, because that gives us, with its aura, an extra 40% weapon range, which is very important. When you're fighting against crises, or really any enemy, alpha strikes are very important. Where if you can artillery and destroy even a handful of their ships before they get to fire, that is that much less damage you will take. And that could be the deciding factor in a fight, especially against crises. So we have been trying to make sure that we have enough fire rate and enough firepower and enough range that we can eliminate the enemy before they even get a shot off. Ideally. And hello, Sapphire. Welcome back.
Reticent child. It disappoints me.
Yeah, you said something about a reward. Your reward is the opportunity to continue. You chose to ignore me once. I trust that you've learned. What do you mean? Did I ignore you? Oh, no, I did. Yeah, I accidentally misclicked on one of the events. That's true. That's true. She's like, hey, I want you to do something. I'm like, hey, go stuff it. Oops. I chose the wrong option. It's like, you know, when you get the dialogue wheel in an RPG game, and you accidentally select the mean option versus the good option. You're like, no! What have I done? Hope you don't intend to Alpha Strike Satana, right? Of course I do. I'm going to see if my fleets can stand up to hers. We already finished the event that allows us to go in, by the way. We finished the Synthetic Queen thing. So we actually can go in the system, I believe. You're doing amazing. That's actually pretty good. I mean, that's amazing. They won't what? %100% hardening? Okay. So we'll have to go through all of her armor first. Alright. Currently, she has no armor. According to this, she has 0 health and 0 armor. Now, that's probably because it might be an overflow error. Or it just won't tell me. Trying out a new headset. Oh. How do I sound with this wonderful new headset? I'm doing okay. Actually, that's kind of a lie. Mentally, I'm doing okay. But I am physically exhausted and hurting because yesterday was quite the day. It was so much work, so much stress. It was crazy. And it was a very long day. I didn't get home until 2 a.m. and I didn't get to go to bed until 3 a.m. Hey, Andy, welcome back, man. She has shields, and they are going to murder your arcs. We'll find out. We'll see. We'll see. We're down to 2 million. We're going bankrupt. I've never had so few energy credits.
A new path lies before us.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Are you done? Oh, you are. Wow, okay. Whatever we can to stave off the inevitable. Yes, we are still alive. Yes. For now. We were actually about to do the final battle, the final countdown. But we delayed because Gaming Brain made a good point that I still didn't have my Juggernaut. Now, the Juggernaut only has a few useful, in my opinion, auras. One of them being the ship weapon range. And that is exactly what we tons of escorts with torpedoes. Oh, you mean are thousands of Riddle escorts with Dro launchers? Yes. Yeah. We have a lot. We have a lot. You need distance for that? We're going to be coming out of this area, so we're going to be firing from here to here. We're almost there! The Juggernaut is 90% of the way! Oh, man. So close! We're so close! Oh, those are going to put in work. I'm looking forward to it. A peace offer? Somebody was at war? Oh yeah, you silly Billy. You should get back to the hot system while you're waiting. What enemy is this? This is Satana. When she spawned, her guard units, which doesn't include her, had a combined strength of 1 billion. Over 1 billion. That's right. Billion with a B. Over 1 billion strength combined. And that did not include her. This is not a fallen empire. This is the crisis. Oh, you gave a winky face. So you know what this is.
New truths have
Or
been
you don't,
revealed.
and you're just being cheap. Anyways, she is... I struggled. I don't even think I beat her when she was the second or third crisis. I think I had her spawn as the second crisis once, and I lost. I couldn't defeat her. What? Oh, okay. All right. We done? 97%. 26 days. Did I check her fleet composition? I don't think I can. I'm pretty sure that they're like enigmatic levels of strength. Oh, never mind. Yes, I can. Tachyon lances. I honestly don't really care with what kind of weaponry they have, because if they hit us, we're dead anyways. I mean, look at this. Ship weapons damage increased by 21,000%. Whatever it hits, it's dead. It's not surviving. Yeah! Void supremacy! Let's go! Alright, let's get that fleet to actually come back over here. No. This isn't 25 times. Let me reiterate. A 25 times crisis event. The first crisis is 25. But if you play a game where it has all crises spawn, each consecutive crisis is like twice as strong as the last one. So 25, 50, 100, 200. She's the last crisis. So she is 200 times normal difficulty. Plus the modifier of whatever game difficulty we're running on, whether that's Grand Admiral or Cadet. So yeah. The whole pool scares you? Yep. Your last crusade. This is it. So either we win or we lose. If I can't defeat her with 67 fleets of like 3 million or so fleet power, that's it. My ships are either, it's all or now. It's all or nothing right now. That's what it is. There is no alternative. This is it. All right, we're gonna have you follow this fleet. Make sure that they get their bonus. We'll have all the other ones arrive there too. Okay, every fleet get here. Everyone's been given an order. The fleets are on their way. There's another modifier for Grand Admiral. That is true. So the difficulty modifier does add to the stacking. So it will end up being much stronger. But since we started this series as a multiplayer intended series where myself and my Kofi members were going to be doing a community crisis challenge where we were all going to be fighting against the crisis, we had the game difficulty set to a specific standard, so then some of the newbie players could actually survive the early game. But when we started this series, with the newest update, the multiplayer had so many desyncs, I ended up with like 5 gigabytes of out of sync data that I needed to delete from my folder. It was just unplayable. There's no supply limit in systems? No, you're right. There is no supply limit in systems, or supply limits in systems. To be honest, I don't think there should be in space. Right? No, but instead I am hemorrhaging 153,000 energy credits a month with this. I hope I have enough to engage her.
What brings you to me? Our work awaits.
The final countdown. War.
This offspring, I believed you were on the cusp of so great.
See you on the battlefield, mother! Do I need to wait like one day? Is she not hostile? Yes, every edict is active, but the ones that like don't matter. I have loads of combat edicts. Yeah. Why is she not considered hostile? Okay, this may crash the game or OBS itself. The stream won't die, but my connection to my stream PC might. So be ready. Hold on, wait a second. Where is it? Where is it? There it is.
Another eye has opened.
Oh, she's recalling! Too late, wench!
Station engaged.
The time is now! Game froze. But that's why. Almost more ships than this screen can fit. What is that flash ping? All right, well, here comes the lag. When, you know what, I'm actually going to slow the game down because there's no reason on having it with normal speed when rest. We're still not in combat. The war hasn't technically been declared. I don't know if I have enough RAM in this computer to do this. The problem is I want to witness this. I don't want it to be off screen. We're on slowest now. Okay. No shots have been fired. Are we not in combat? We're not at war.
Hey!
Even the hello. Yep. Domo Arido. Mr. Roboto. Maybe disable the camera? That might help. It doesn't need to be here at this point. Why are they not red? I don't know. Let me get out of this real quick, if I can. No, things are dying. Things are exploding. Right? Maybe? Pause. 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 Okay. There's no event. We are at war. They're in combat with something. What if I select the fleet? All right. What are you fighting? Other than my GPU and CPU. You're not fighting anything. You're considered in combat, but you're not actually, we're not at war. I'm engaged, they're engaged, but nobody's firing a shot. Okay, what if I just let some time pass? If I get out of the system, where's the fleet info? I know, right? Alright, we're just gonna let a little bit of time pass and see if it engages. They're not in combat. Yeah, so Satana is not considered in combat, but I am considered in combat. Hey! Oh, it's begun! We're doing something! It's happened! Oh, it just took forever! An event just happened. A mother... What? I'm... What? What? We I can't even get rid of the thing? Hello? Okay, so my fear may have the actual situation. So when I said, look at her and her armor, that he was showing 0, it may have been that she had a stack overflow. She had 0 hull and 0 armor because she died. I feel cheated. I can't. I had the Windows pinwheel for a moment. That was an alpha flight strike. She had to be. It had to be. Had so much, like, that she had so many stats that the game couldn't calculate it overflow. Did she die? She instantly evaporated.
Your defiance has doomed
Come on!
those who come after. To the endless
Really? It's the ending?
hope that in time you will understand. Perhaps one day you will take up my cause and see the end of pain. Go in peace, my favored ones.
Hold on. I'm trying to get out of the system view. All right. We're no longer in the system. What is my current RAM usage at right now? Let's find out here. What is Stellaris using? It's only 8,000 right now. So it's not the 15,000 it was yesterday. Yeah, might have to send this save file to Paradox. Okay. Hey! I got my computer back! The stream is saved! So, what I think happened is that her armor and her health was so high that it reached the stack overflow and it went into the negatives. That tends to happen with games that have like really high numbers where stack overflow tends to cause things to go into the negative. That's when a number is so high that the game, like the computer cannot calculate it. You know what to do. You know what to do. Nice reference, by the way. Yeah. So we don't actually get to see the final battle. Granted, I don't think even if like we did one-shotter, I don't think the game would have survived. there was so much on the screen, it would probably have still struggled even if I wasn't looking at the actual system and the combat had begun. This is why the new ship rework will be great. When as soon as that comes out, we got to do this again, chat. We got to go again. We got to do it again with the ship overhaul. We'll see how that happens. But honestly, that's kind of disappointing. I mean, we won, but on a technicality. Like, she instantly died, and none of the other ships were really touched. Because when she died, everything vanished. It was like, oh, I guess it's game over.
Hey!
Would you use the integer to save money? Oh, is that what I need to do? Oh my God, you're a genius. What if I built so many ships that the cost, the upkeep, is so high that it overflows and becomes free? In fact, maybe I start making money. I wonder how many ships that would require. That would require a lot. We technically won the best kind of victory. I mean, is it though? Okay. Well, so I had a backup plan. Possible, but you need to avoid bankrupting. Yeah, I need to have enough stored that I can just poop them all out. And then, I mean, no, hold on. Actually, you know, you could bankrupt still, right? It doesn't cost energy to build them. As long as you have enough alloys to keep producing, you can probably do it. If you have the entire galaxy and all of that storage, I think that we could try at some point. That would be a very crazy thing to try. The fleets always strike the biggest ship. So it is possible that we actually defeated her properly. But I don't think that that's the case, because earlier when we were looking at the system and we were trying to gauge her strength, we saw that she had shields, but no hull and no armor. It just showed a 0. So it could be that once she gets into PvP mode, then she starts regenerating, or maybe it, you know, it turns on. But that doesn't make sense because it's happened in the past where we fought her without a problem. So it has to be that her number, her stats were so high that the computer overflowed the number and it went down to 0. That's the only explanation I can think of. Or she was just bugged. It just didn't spawn her properly. One of those two. She does have regen, yeah. So she should have regen whatever health she had. And that, like I said, that's the only thing that makes sense. So what that means is that it is not possible for us to have actually fought her. Regardless of how much strength we have, it would not be possible to fight her because she has no hull, no health. She's got 0 health. She'll just die in an instant because of the difficulty we put her on. I would like to, now again, that could be, it's a current bug. I don't know. The regen killed her, updating her stat. It could be that her regen also killed her. The game was like, wait a second, she has 0 HP, and on the month tick, that means she's dead. So, death. Like I said, I don't know. It was so hard to tell with how laggy it was, but she died. All the other ships took like no damage. Actually, if we look back through the VOD, if we could see that we actually did damage, because, you know, like the combat stats was like, oh, hey, we're finally engaged in combat. Down at the very bottom, it has those numbers of how much hull, armor, and shield damage you do. If there was any damage, then it could be that we actually killed her. But if there was 0 damage, I think she just had 0 health, and when the game finally realized it, she's like, well, she's dead. GG. I don't know. Regen pulse and put it to negative 20 billion? Yeah, probably. Anyways, that's the end of this event. There's nothing more that could be done. I'm not even going to play it to the end game date because I don't see a purpose. But that's not the end of today's stream. Since we've only been live for about an hour and 40 minutes, we will be moving on to another game. I had a Mega Bonk as a backup game, just in case, because I'm not allowed to stream yet EU5 or the new Crusader Kings content. Although I would love to. Pantheon, a Netflix series, explains what happened here. I've never heard of that. Anyway, thank you for the water. So what we're going to do, for the sake of the YouTube VOD, is I'm going to end this stream, change the stream title, and then we'll move on to Mega Bonk for a while. I don't know how loud. Kenshi is... okay, there are so many series I want to do. Kenshi is one of those games like Stellaris where you can't just play for a day or two or a week. You need more. You always need more. It's never enough time. But thanks for putting that back in my mind. I have not tried Mind Ones yet. I actually haven't tried any of their origins. So the origins that they have access to, I've just been choosing Tank Boys. The Tank Bound is just so strong. It's so potent. It's pretty much overpowered. Especially if you stack it with Cosmogenesis and you play wide, it's just bonkers. That was probably the only way that we could have afforded all those ships. Normally I don't go that high with my ship count, but I felt like I could. Granted, very clearly it seems like we didn't need to worry. We probably could have sent one ship in there. The game would have been like, oh, she died! She had 0 health! Oh no! Congratulations, you won! Anyways, we're gonna end this stream here. So stick around if you want to hang out for the second part where we do Mega Bonk. But I do need to leave the stream off for like a solid minute, I think, for the Twitch and YouTube to consider it a second stream and not just like a disconnect where it's like, oh, you technically still streaming, but you just lost internet connection. So an EU4 match. I do want to play. So I have a few series planned. Number one, the Stellaris co-op event. I would like to do the Community Crisis again when the game is fixed. All right. There's a few other events I would like to do as well. There is the Victoria 3 event I would like to do for Victoria 3 multiplayer, just so I could relearn the game. Because I would like to do Victoria 3 with Anbanar, the Anbanar overhaul mod. And there's the Crusader Kings event. So we've done this Crusader Kings event in the past. It is called the Community Kingdom, or the Viewer Kingdom, where I, as the king, have viewers underneath of me who are counts and dukes, and we try to expand the kingdom into an empire and make it as big as possible over the course of a week. It is a PvE game, so no shenanigans against other players. It's just how big can we make this empire with just viewers and without it crumbling. And that's something we have planned next, especially since new Crusader Kings content will be coming out soon. But there's a lot. Then it's the fact it's October. There's just so much I wanted to do and not enough time. What will we do? Anarchy, only for a minute or two. By the way, Melvidini, thank you very much for the follow. I appreciate that. And Starsky and Hutch, right? Starsky, thank you very much for the follow. I'll be back in just a moment, all right? Can you just end the YouTube stream